Boomtastic, we're live. Over to you, Brady, son.
Well, it's good to see everyone again. We are actually going to be doing some schedule shuffling. So this session is, Tim, I also wanted to talk to you about this. If you want to shuffle the schedule around, I wanted to do the every other week thing, but I'm not sure how we're going to do it just yet. I kind of want to get everyone's opinion because I have a couple people that want to be guests here soon. So flexible with them and flexible with you and just figure out how we're going to do it. But I do want more consistency. So we're going to try for that if you're cool with that. But as far as sessions, today's session is concerned, it's full and weird. As everyone can see, I've actually got a sessions stream going here and my video here. So I'm going to be playing with the green screen a little bit today, and Sessions is now going to be streaming onto the website anytime we're doing this. So when we go live, it's live on the website. Life is People will also be doing this, but I'm going to have to do some tinkering to get another person's channel into my feed, which is going to take some tinkering. But all three of our feeds will actually go live. So if Chris is streaming, it will just pop up on the Sessions live page. Tim, if Life is People is playing, you're going to be live on there. And if Sessions is live, we're going to have kind of a eventful production of green screen work for Sessions every week on the website too. So, but that's why I have two streams going, is so I can separate things and play a little bit. But I also have one other announcement. At the top of the hour, starting in exactly 1 hour, we're going to bleed Sessions off into a live performance that I'm doing in Second Life. And that's another reason why I have this set up like this, because I had to actually allocate bandwidth for the game as well, so we can actually bleed off properly. So, yeah, that's going to be fun. But I will probably just drop maybe video, or no, I'm going to drop audio from here and maybe feed it in through here. I don't know. Today is a very experimental session is what I'm getting at, I guess, to put it short. Tim also has something he's going to play for us in a dedication. So take it away, Tim. I'd like you to kind of take the ball now.
Well, man, when we play the songs up to well, however it goes, but it's been a constant, as you know, dude. I mean, ever since I've kind of flown the flag with Life is People, I've kind of been hit by it's been a constant in my life, really, of young men I know, friends I know, great friends of mine, committing suicide. And it's been something that I've tackled many times on through this podcast, and it's with every time it happens. I don't know if you've had it, anyone you've known when this has happened to you, but you're always left with a question of why, and every time, after time maybe you find some solutions, you think, oh, okay, I can get to the end of it, but every time you're hit by it, it's just another why. And this guy particularly it's very pertinent, really, because he'd written songs which I'm going to play, at some point, and it was actually writing about this very subject, and he was aware about male suicide and about how it's hidden in society and stuff, but for some reason, a young man who had everything took his life this week, and I don't know why. And it's moments like that, I don't know, they serve to, I think, make us all realise that we are here to live, and I think that's all you can take away with it. I don't think you can ever get to the bottom of these people's minds because it's in that individual experience. But he was I think it's something that I'm going to talk about a lot more, and I think I'm going to really explore this issue over some series of Life is People. And I really want, particularly us, as we are here, free men, to talk about it, because this is something that I know on your side of the continent, as well as my side over here, it's not spoken about. And I know on your side of the continent, the amount of men that are dying, vets, I mean, just the amount of veterans that are dying on your side of the world, and it's just all hidden away. And I think it's one of those things that I've tried exploring about it, and to be honest with you, I want to be real about it in the sense of this. I think one of the things that we're told about it, and when I've explored this before, it's like, well, we should all be open with each other as men. We should all, have that moment. We should all, turn to each other and say, hey, are you actually doing all right? And be trying to be real. But at the end of the day, it doesn't work. We are men. I really want to prick this bubble, but we are just men, and men kind of intrinsically don't want to talk to anyone. We want to, be very recluse in ourselves. And I don't know how to overcome this. I think it's something that, yes, it's great if we can all speak to each other, but how do you get over this, loss of men that are happening because they know to speak to each other? It's not like we're not told to speak to each other, but it doesn't happen. And then along the way, people fall. Sorry, Brady, you were going to say.
Oh no, I was going to kind of agree with you, and I wanted to say another thing is the fact that I think part of the reason it's not talked about by the individuals who unfortunately do these things is a lot of times it's something that they're kind of reaching out in indirect ways. Like this individual, you said he was kind of an advocate for suicide prevention and issues about that, and would talk about it a lot. And I think that's them reaching out. And I think it's unfortunate that you have to read between the lines with a lot of people, but that's just the case. And I don't know. I think that's the thing, is getting a little better. And I'm always talking about it. We need to really focus on mental health a lot. I've got a number of people in my family with mental health issues, and I've been around it a lot in my life, and you do have to read between the lines. It's not as cut and dry as just figuring out a solution. It's people need some type of a support system, but society is not developed in a way that it has a support system. It's a very dog eat dog world that people like that just give up. They just say fuck it and just that's the end. And like you, it's like it's not so much why that I ask. It's like, what the hell can we do? I'm at a total loss because I've had people pass away, and I've known, and that could have been prevented, and a line situation every single time though. So it's, for me, it's not so much why. It's like I'm at a complete loss of words for it most of the time, personally. Most of my songs actually of it in a way that I can't put into words myself. So I actually take the emotional feeling and vibe and I put it into a song. And generally the words that come out have nothing to do with the situation or the individual themselves, but it kind of takes of a loss of words and turns it into something, either a story or I do a lot of lead vocaling when I'm in that state of mind. Kind of let my mind speak for me rather than me try to figure out the words to say, and just let it come out. And it's usually very abstract and it fits together like a puzzle rather than anything structured. That's me personally. I don't.
Well, I mean, Brady, one of the things I've spent a lot of time, not only this week, because but particularly this week with the events happening this week, and I've contemplated it a lot. And you're right, and I think, okay, as individuals, we can't change society. Maybe it's not our prerogative too. I mean, that's we can only reform ourselves and change ourselves. But the one thing we can all offer, and this is something that we speak about a lot of times, and it's even beyond the digital, decentralized, any technology. This is just a human-to-human thing. And do you know the thing we can all offer? We can all offer sanctuary. And this is the thing I've really contemplated on this week, that if, X amount of my friends had just known that there was somewhere in the world for them, that there was just somewhere where they could just go and just have some sanctuary, just a place of refuge where they're not going to have, got to go and crash on your parents' floor where you're going to get a million questions. Because I think that's a lot of it, because you were saying about what can we do. I mean, and my struggle with the why, maybe why I question it, is I'm surrounded by everything screaming at me, we got life. And that's something that's intrinsically human. And man, I'm open to say this, and I've said it many times before. I've gone some dark paths. I know that I'm not some happy, slap ourselves on the back, hey, life's great. No, man, I've been some dark, murky waters in my time. But I've always had that instinctive thing to live. And I think what you can't answer why someone, he says, Brady, because you get into whole areas of mental health and what someone else's mind is, and that's a whole jigsaw that none of us really have got the answers to that one. But the what's and what we can do is these things is offering sanctuary, because I think a lot of people, when they get to this situation, and it must be obviously to go from the point where you're dark and moody, and man, we know that, as you just spoke upon, Brady, we've all been there, dude. We've all been in that dark and moody, that place that night. The separation between that and putting, this is the thing, this is being real about this conversation. This is why men go through this thing, because men, compared to women, when they commit suicide, generally will have some pills, but it'll be a cry for help, and then they wake up in an A&E, and it'd be like, oh, and they're very good at expressing that. That's why a lot of women don't have suicide issues. When it does, it tends to be ending up in a hospital. Men are very fatal with it. Men will go out. My brother was a psychiatric nurse, and he would speak about this all the time. Men will go out and they will jump off bridges. They will hang themselves. Put a blade to their throat. It's final with man. And I think the thing that when a person gets to that point, if they just knew, I mean, maybe it'd be nothing at all, but if it's just something they just knew and thought, do you know what? I can just get on a car and I could just escape and go and crash at Brady's house, or do you know what? I can just travel up and get on a bus and just go and crash at Tim's house. It's just sanctuary. It's just that knowing that there's somewhere in that world, there's that refuge, there's that beacon of human hope that doesn't cost any of us anything. I don't give a fuck, man. We've all got some shelter on our roofs. All of us in this conversation have got the shelter, roof, and the technology to have this conversation. And I would always know that if any of it, I always know if I came into shit, I could get on a plane, get over, and I could crash on your floor, and it wouldn't bother me. I'd be like, I just know there's a floor to lie on. I'm not expecting riches, and that's what I think we can all offer. And it doesn't cost a penny. And I think it's something that's ancient, and it's part of the world culture that we, as you spoke upon, Brady, for whatever reason, that we live in the part of the world we are, that has all been broken by the divisions and everything else. And that sanctuary and offering that human refuge is something that's free, doesn't cost anything, and every human being can do it. And if you can't find it in your heart, you need to go away and work out how you can find that in your heart, because that's intrinsically human to me. And I think that is in something that in these times of division and war, we need really to stand up and say, I'm a human being, and this is what it means to be a human being.
Well, I think that's the key, is what you just said there at the end, is that division. And that's one thing that, I love what you do with Life is People, and because you focus on the connection of people. And what you're talking about very much is a division of people. And in this day and age, I mean, especially, I mean, a lot of people are either stuck in their homes, stuck in the middle of wars, stuck in the middle of this, stuck in the middle of that, and it does nothing but cause division of people and a separation of social connection. And I've found with everyone I've known who is struggling with something as horrible as it is, it could be the worst thing imaginable that I've seen a friend go through, with a social connection of some kind, even if it's minute, small, it tends to really give them a doorway and that sanctuary like you're talking about. And I think, I don't know, I think like you always say, it's people need to connect more so than ever in history, I think is really, in my opinion, is the solution.
No, and I think it's relevant, Brady. I mean, it's relevant because particularly around, look at the title of this thing, Sessions. It's all about being creative, and the whole of our creative industry. I mean, it's just littered with creative people who have got to the peak of what they've done and then just taken their lives through drugs, through despair, and it's like it's not spoken about in our creative world. I mean, honestly, dude, I'm old enough to remember, and I was part of a generation that is almost. And I'll be real here. This is being really real about what a lot of the conversations amongst when I was in a band back in the day was, and that's not that long ago. It was all about, oh, if you live beyond 34, you're a failure, because all the best people die at 33. You know, this whole die young bit. Bill Hicks died young. You know, Jim Morrison died at 33. Kurt Cobain died. It was all like in this sort of, and it was just almost like this, really weird kind of glorification of a suicide moment, and that was the best way to go. If you were a real rock and roll rebel, you would, you know, this flash, you know, burn out in a flash of glory, James Dean style bollocks. You know what I mean? And that's not that long ago. But the point is, it's scarred our industry. But we're still not talking about it. We're still not speaking about it, and that's what I'm saying. Why is it? You know what I mean? Because this is the fascinating thing I think you spoke upon, Brady, that when you do this, you have this intrinsic. The creative element is very much is interlinked with this dark, murky world, and that's what it drags. That's why creative people get dragged into. But we kind of, again, we just see. Look at this year, man. Prince. I'm not a great Prince fan, but that's another guy, and another guy just taken off this planet for. And again, you were speaking about mental health issues, and you think, well, okay, it didn't do him any good, did it? They just stuffed him full of pills, and now he's not on this planet anymore. And it's just. I speak about it, Craig, because I think it's really, and I think this is where I chuck it into the creative industry, because you've been in the creative industry, you know, you know the people around you, and it's just not spoken about, and it's that, to me, I think it's. I don't understand why it's not spoken about when so many creative people that we admire are taken with it, and it's, why isn't it spoken about? I mean, I don't know. I chuck that over to you. You've been in the music industry. Why do you think it's not spoken about?
Unfortunately, when it comes to musicians, you know, it's a very much use and abuse them until they're, you know, worthless and not financially worth anything to a company, which is why I'm always advocating for music moving in the direction of what we're doing with sessions, because I think music shouldn't be about focusing on business and money and all this crap that just drains a creative individual of everything they're worth and then throws them out when they're done, because that shit, it makes a person crazy. I mean, I don't care who you are. It's too much pressure for people to deal with. It's too much crap to lay on one individual person to turn them into just this, well, what a lot of musicians really are, and they're just a commodity to be used, and once they're burned out and over with, they just throw them away. And the mental health situation isn't really focused on, because a lot of times people do some of the most amazing work when they are on that brink of total insanity and falling completely apart. I mean, you look at Bill Hicks, he's a perfect example. Everyone loved when he just got completely hammered on stage, and they're like, wow, that was some of his most groundbreaking work. And, you know, that may be true. It unfortunately is, because they're thinking way outside of the box. They're way out here, just really thinking like no one else is. And it does take that really far pushed state of mind. I mean, in some of my worst moments in life, I was telling jokes like I was one of the best stand-up comedians, like joke after joke, and everyone in the room is just laughing, and I am completely miserable inside, and I'm like, I'm ready to just destroy the world, and everyone's loving it. And that's the problem, is there is a love for people like that, and they're not really thinking about the fact that the reason they're acting that way is because you're not reading between the lines. They're crying out for help in that moment, and everyone's just like cheering them on, and they're like, well, yeah, screw it, you know what, I'm just going to do this till I die. So it's a very much personal decision as well. I mean, you look at Bill Hicks, and he probably wouldn't have had it any other way. It's just, you know, the way it is. And I think a lot of it's a personal decision situation too. So I don't know.
I get what you're saying, Brady, but this is why I think it's like it's almost like a Gordian knot, and you sort of like try to untangle it. It's because that goes as far. But I'm kind of I think Bill Hicks is a perfect example. You know how much I feel about that guy, but you know, that's why I look and think, well, if he was around now, he would have the tools. There is no excuse now. Do you know what I mean? Because I think one of the things that drove Bill particularly was the thing about he wasn't being heard and he wasn't being listened to. And I can understand that why creative people, even to this day, still feel they aren't heard, because I think there is. And we speak upon it. I mean, we're in sessions 15, and we spoke on it a long time about that gap. But hey, that gap isn't as big as it is. So in essence, like you say, the creative, and I understand completely what you're saying, but I think the half of that creative element is to go out and swim in those murky waters, and that's good. We don't want a world where we're going like, oh no, under mental health, we don't let those people. We need, that's part of the human experience. We need people to. Yeah. That's what I love as a creative. I was speaking upon you in this. We were talking this week, and I love that's what the creative's there to do. It's there to prick the bubble of people's egos and to remind them that we're immortal. But this is what I'm trying to say. This is why I think it goes back to. Okay, I don't mind people swimming out in the murky waters as long as they know that there's some humanity around them that will allow them to do it. But just their safety net. I'm just saying, hey, dude, I don't mind you doing it. Hey, I've got a barn up in the middle of the Highlands. Why don't you just come up there and swim in these murky waters? But I know that you're going to be looked after. There's going to be some food and just someone there. I'm not going to fuss over you. I'm not going to, And I think that goes a long way, because you look at a lot of the root of all these things, Brady. It comes down to that disconnect, like you were talking about, where they feel that there isn't any of that human connection of anyone, whether it's Prince, whether it's Bill Hicks, whether it's Matty, who died this week, committed suicide. It's that lack of, I haven't got anyone to reach out to. There's no one there. And that's what I was trying to speak to, and I was trying to maybe question, and I'll maybe do it over more over Life is People, to find out what it is about us as men that we can't do this. And do you know what I was trying to say earlier on? Because I've got around the world, and in other cultures, this doesn't exist. I've loved it. When I was living in Venezuela in the middle of the jungle, you didn't hear about male suicide there. So it's not something that, we've got to sort of like, suddenly become this new species as males. Like, well, we've got to become, almost like pussification. We've got to become like these, openly, let's all hug each other. And no, man, we're men. And that's intrinsically, I know the world we live in trying to push that out of us, but I think that's the whole thing. So we've got to find out, okay, if we're not, what can we be real about men that we're going to do that? So, because let's be real, dude. I don't want to be I don't want to be sort of turning on this one day and hearing that either Chris or you, Brady, have like strung yourself. I don't want that. Like this week, it makes me feel like I've let myself down. Like, what didn't I do that I could reach out to Matty more? What couldn't? And that's where we can all make this almost like brotherhood to each other and say, look, I'll say this right now in public to both of you two, man. My house is my castle is your castle, man. You always feel that there's someone here, and that's the point. That's all I can do. I can reach out. I don't want to come in and start. And that's the secret. I think what men do. We don't want to reach out and probe into your lives, but it's always the element of like, man, we're always here, and that's that brotherhood shit, man. That's when you were little kids, and it's like, hey, you know what I mean, I'm always here with, always got your back shit, but I don't want to know about what's going on in your home or what your girlfriend is, or I don't want to know that shit. That's not that. That's a very unique male thing, and I think that's something, if we focused on that would, I swear, man, we wouldn't have as many deaths as we would do, because it's, as you were speaking upon, Brady, it's that human connection that people need to know. They need to know there's someone out there, and just let them be what they want to be, and not almost mother them in that sense, and to say, hey, Brady, hey, Chris, you can be what yourself do, but hey, I've always got your back, and if you ever need anyone, man, I'm here. If it ever gets real, when the shit hits the fan, hey, you get on a fucking, get in the car and you come over and crash at my place. That means so much, and it doesn't cost a penny.
Yeah. I think I'll agree with you. It's a tough one, though. Because it takes an individual to reach out too, and I don't know how to really get that one, because you don't know. A lot of times the people who are on the brink look like they're perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. All the time. They're like, you ask, how are you doing? They're like, I'm great. How are you doing? And I'm like, I'm good, but you don't know until just one day that person's just gone, and you're looking at them like, really, what happened? It's always like, well, like you said, it does leave you saying why, because it's generally the people that look perfectly fine.
And I mean, Chris has highlighted this, and then this is the other, really, the one that's unspoken about all of suicide, man, is the people left behind. And I know that's not the person that does it, and I know it's always going, oh, well, they don't, but it is a selfish act. I mean, the act of suicide, if we be really real, is a really selfish act because you're taking your pain away, but you're leaving echoes behind for generations. And I know people that are affected by what happened to their parents 40 years ago, man, and it's now affected how they've treated their kids. And you think, okay, that cycle's going to go on for another 2 or 3 generations. It's horrific, man. And Chris, you're absolutely right, man. And I'm glad that you pointed this out because that's something that's not spoken about. That it's the people that are left behind. And how do we talk? I mean, what do we do? Do we just carry on and go, oh, well, life's all great. And let's get back to that. Hey, let's get back to the distraction of Clinton versus Trump. I mean, come on, man. I mean,
yeah. The horribly unfortunate part is that life does go on.
Mm.
And there's no changing that. I mean, you can't stop the world for one person, no matter how much you would like to. So, yeah, you only can go on. You crack a joke here or there to make light of it so it doesn't hurt so much. But you go on. That's all you can do. That or you take your own pain and you put it on somebody else and you just perpetuate the cycle. So you make it worse or you deal. It's hard.
Exactly, and that's when you get into this Gordian knot because you would want to encourage someone at that point, like I had this week, of going, okay, right, see if you can funnel that in taking the discipline and funnel it into creativity. But then you, like you're saying, Brady, you start going down that one and you go, okay, I'm getting off on this, and then you become isolated, recluse, and before you know it, you're like, the world looks really doomy. And this is, I can't, none of us can speak on individual matters, and I can't speak about what happened to Matty this week, but man, he was an intelligent guy. And this is one of the things that I really think, just to sort of overplay this, and it does sort of allude back to this Trump-Hillary shit that we're living in at the moment, is that when you do become aware of things, it's very easy to become very doomtastic about the world and think, fuck, we're doomed. And over here, I talk about, I was speaking to you in private this week, Brady, the purge. It's just this whole idea of thinking nothing's going to change and we're fucked. And that's a bad position to be in, especially when you go, okay, and what do you do when you switch on the media? It's just all like telling you it's doomed. Think one way, don't, and it's just division. And that's, like you said, Brady, that's why the most intelligent person can put a suit on every day, and then the next thing you know, like, oh, wait, and that's something that we can do because, okay, yeah, life does go on, but it's that old adage, isn't it? I mean, evil doesn't just go on by what the evil people do. It's by the good people turning away, man. And that's the point. All the focus that we give Trump and all that shit, and we give energy to that source of bollocks, and we don't talk about the real shit. It means that gets the power, that gets the energy, that gets the vibration, that gets everything, and people are left behind. And that's where we can do that because we can change the narrative. We can change it. That's what we can do as individuals, man. I mean, that's proven from a small level, to what we can all do. I mean, I look over in America and think, well, it was individuals that's changed your whole marijuana cannabis law. It's individuals that have woken up and done that. And if we all did that about everything and went, fuck this shit, man, let's be real. But everybody, as you'll know, this is one of the battles that goes on with people. This is what creative people scream about all the time, is that people just go, oh, fuck it. Life goes on. Shit, I'll just drink another beer. Fuck it. And just go on and they just turn away and then for people who are the creative, they get more doomtastic because they look around and go, shit, even the people who do know what's going on are just turning their heads away. And then they become doomtastic and it's a vicious cycle, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I every time I get on this subject, I have that loss of words thing. I just want to pick up my guitar and just play until my hand just can't and it hurts. I don't know. It's
probably why a lot of men don't talk about it because it is such, even though we mask it well, it is such a touchy subject that words get hard to say, and
it's one of the
speechless.
Yeah, it's one of the few topics that I think one of the biggest issues is it makes a lot of people just stumble over their words. Even the best of speakers can't find words, and they just you know, it's, I don't know. That's I think it's a reaction. You know, it's just a natural reaction. So, and it's one that doesn't help the situation at all.
No, but at the end of the day, Brady, this is the maybe the duality of it, and the flip side is, and I think you just spoke upon it, both of you there, and it's all I've done this week. I've just poured myself into piano playing and just being creative, and that is, again, because that has the power to touch someone else, and music carries you through. The amount of tracks this week that I've been listening to, that I've tried to tell as many people as I have done, individually, like, dude, that track has pulled me through. And that's what we can do. We can feed that creativity, because, dude, the reason I'm here now talking to you is because of music. It pulled me through some right murky times in my 20s, my early teens. Music got me through. Art got me through. Reading books got me through. Film got me through. Do you know what I mean? That's where we need people to create this shit. And that's what this whole duality, what this whole conversation is about. We need people to create, because that does get someone through that you don't even know. That's why I say it. It's a cliche of mine, but man, people that do something and they put it out, it inspires people that they're never going to meet. And that's the thing. You may put a track out on, say, SoundCloud or whatever platform, you know what I mean? And maybe only 30 people will listen to it. But one of those 30 people, you may have saved their life, dude. And you won't know that. Yeah. You're never going to know. And that's why I always try to say to people, man, put shit out, please. Just be creative, because that whole process of being creative does get you out of that cycle of, like, doom and I'm going to put a blade in my throat. Because you can't, as you said, Brady, you get into this thing of, like, I'll pick up a guitar. Oh, shit. I actually feel a lot better now, because I've my brain cells are now firing up in other things, and a lot of that sadness leaves you by playing music or being whatever it may be. So that's why I always say to people, do it. And this is one of the other things as well, especially when we live in a world where everything is pushed out, that everything's got to be happy and smiley. I mean, dude, you live in the world of Disney, man. You live in America, where it's all like, hey, everything's got to be great, and it's kind of like, shh, no. And that's why I try to say we need to. That's why I love what even this sessions does. I love everything what we do is because anything that's coming along with any human being that's opening themselves and saying, hey, I've got a bit of creativity. This is what I've done. Great. Let's fucking highlight that and do everything we can for it, because it gets people through, man. That's what I'm saying. People that I've listened to on this, connected to on this podcast, have got me through this week. And that's true. Listen to their music. So that's the power of what we do, man. And that is a positive. I know we're getting a really doomy conversation and you do get lost for words, but that's the thing we can do. We can just, like, it goes back to what I was saying before, man. And I think you said it quite rightly, because all we can do is live. That's all we can do. It's just fucking do I know that you're going to be here? Do I know that, you know what I mean? We're all going that I'm going to turn up, in a couple of weeks' time, and hey, we don't know what's going to happen to us, but man, at least I know that you're, I've got your back. That's all we can do. Live. We can't change anything. I can't do anything about Clinton. I'm on the other side of the planet. I can't do anything about her. I can't do anything about Trump. I can't do anything about my politicians, but I can live. That's step one. Just having that step one of living, man. And that's something we can all do.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the point of life, is to make the most of it, regardless of what your situation is. And some people are better at that than others, and it's typically, I don't know.
Some people are better, some people are lucky, and some people are creative. So.
Yeah.
Well, man, do you know the other thing as well? And I could maybe just. I think this is, again, and I think it needs to be reiterated and said again. And it's as obvious as breathing air itself. But nothing is constant, and I think that needs to be wrung out and said to people loud and true. Whatever situation you're in now, it can change, and you can start that in your own process. Like, this is what I'm saying. It starts from inside yourself. Okay. Cut the negative people out of your life. Get yourself out of situations, but things will change. Nothing is constant. Things are always in flux. And that's why I try to say to people, hold on. Whatever dark situation you're in, hold on, because things will change. Nothing is constant, and that needs to be wrung out over and over again, because I think when people get to that dark level, they think, oh, that's it, it's always going to get, the same, and it's not. Things are changing, and you don't know the future. That's what I'm saying. The future is unwritten, man, but it's definitely always on a complete cycle. And we could get into metaphysicals about that, whether we're in a great loop of time that goes on forever, but the truth is, life is like that, man. Today we're all going to eat, we're going to shit, we're going to sleep, we're going to go through the same thing again tomorrow. And if we've got that along part of that ride, you know that things are going to change. We're going to get aged. That's the point we're making about, man. We're all going to age. Everything happens to us, but that's life. It does change, and that's something that needs to be wrung out, because, as you know, man, people, when you get into that doom-tastic point of view, the worst thing they hear over and over again is like, nothing's going to change. It's only going to get worse. It's just going to get worse. And it's like, no. Life is change, and it needs to be said.
And the more an individual realizes how much power they actually have to change things, it just takes a lot of energy and effort, but even one person can change a whole heck of a lot in this world.
Exactly, man. And even this is what I'm trying to say. Even if this is the whole point, it's not about going out there and leading a protest movement. It's not, man. That individual change can just be one person by themselves in their house thinking, okay, I'm gonna craft something. I'm gonna learn something. I'm gonna get a piece of metal and work out how to cut it up and make it into. This is, like you said, it doesn't cost anything. It's just that discipline of doing something rather than just caving in, which is what you were talking about, Brady, which is something that you don't need anything for. You don't need people for it. You don't need. All you just need is something where you're just focusing that energy. Because that's what happens, man. And do you know the other one, man? This is the other really white elephant. We're going to really prick the white elephants in this conversation. Do you know the other one that's not spoken about? Alcohol. The demon of alcohol, man. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not some, teetotal and stuff, man. But that demon of alcohol, man, that's what it does to people.
Well, it's. I think you want to talk about the mental health issue. I deal with a lot of alcoholism here and there in my life, and have, not me personally, but I know a lot of friends. I've had a lot of family members. I know people that have died because of it. Cirrhosis of the liver. I mean, you name it. Some of the worst things imaginable, and a lot of it stems from alcoholism. And it's one of the things is a lot of people end up self-medicating themselves because they're just depressed. They just have major hardcore depression, and I'm guilty of it myself. In certain times of my life, I've gone down that rabbit hole quite a bit. I've pushed myself to the point these days, especially as a parent, you kind of have to. You can't really take that self-medication route. You've got to figure out other things, and for me, that's a lot of what sessions is about. I mean, this music is my medicine, and I always say that because it really is. I mean, I'm moving in a direction of auditory medicine, I guess is the way it is. I mean, I'm into binaural frequencies, ASMR, music, sessions, and I'm pushing it as far as I can because you have to. I mean, you're in that situation where things are a little rough. It's it's easy to reach for a bottle, especially if there's nothing else there for you. And I'm not a big fan of the way doctors like to medicate people, because a lot of doctors, they're incentivized to prescribe just junk to people and experiment on them. And especially a lot of people with really severe mental illnesses, they turn them into a just total guinea pig and just say, here, try this combination of pills and we'll see how it works. And it's not really a solution. It's just this, it's just as bad as them self-medicating. In fact, a lot of times if they did self-medicate, they might have been better off. A lot of times not, but it's hard to say. That's one of those things that we're not in a situation, we don't have a solution to any of it. And neither do the individuals, so they do self-medicate because they're like, well, screw all those pills. I don't want to take it either. It's junk. So they end up just drinking or doing drugs, illegal drugs, and not the ones the doctors are giving them. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I think this. something that's just, Chris mentioned earlier on, and I think this is something else that's kind of, again, maybe a cultural one. This is why maybe this doesn't exist in rate amongst men in parts of Africa and Asia and stuff like that, and South America aren't as high in what we're talking about in our parts of the world. Because I think one of the things that look about it. I mean, you think about maybe my parents' generation or my grandparents' generation completely. All the men and what they saw, it relates to something Chris was saying. It was the humour. Now we live in a culture now, man, where we've spoken about a few times on this very sessions about what we're allowed to say, what we're not allowed to say, what you can do, what's going to offend this person. We're all, and it's that thing about men. That's what they're trying to. That's why I always feel this is why men feel that sometimes they're attacked, because it's kind of like, well, I mean, it's ironic, but it's that kind of like, dude, if we get all men together, this is what we talk about, and it's that humour. What you're saying, it's that gallows humour, man. Dude, mate, I spoke to my granddad. He used to some of the gallows stuff he used to talk about the Second World War, man. It was like now he would. I mean, of course he'd be like, "Oh, he's the most offensive person at all. How can you?" People, smoke coming out people's ears about. But this is what I'm saying. Humour gets through it all, man, because it pulls us down to like, hey, what else can we do, man? We've made it for another day. Let's just all laugh at each other and not realise. Let's stop taking life so seriously. And it's that humour. I think you've hit upon something that's really, really relevant there, Chris, because that really does fucking help. Because you know what I mean? That's what we all break down to, man. We all just take the piss at each other. It's like that game you play. I can't remember the name you mentioned last time. It's that brilliant. I love that, because it's anything that's gonna fucking, like you say, highlight that humour is a good thing, man. Because like you said, gallows humour's gets men particularly through shit.
Oh, are you talking about Cards Against Humanity?
I refuse to die until I have the perfect epitaph written. So I'm good to go.
So
it's got to be funny enough for generations.
Well, we know how to read between your lines now.
When I find the end all joke, I will end all. And thankfully, I'm not a good writer, so years to come.
So I'm going to try something. Now I have this all set up, and I need to kind of experiment. I'm going to be playing in Second Life here in 20 minutes now, but I wanted to make it a part of sessions. So if you wanted to play that song, I wanted to actually open the stream and go live on there. So let me actually embed this on the website, and then we're going to stream.
Can I just say, Brady, man, you had my heart pulsing there. When you said, like, I've got it all set up, like, I thought, here we go, he's going to pull a shotgun and blow his head off, man. Here we go.
I've got everything all set up. I've been planning this for years.
Anything for the ratings.
It's all lined up perfectly for the punchline right now.
Yeah. Anything for the ratings. We gotta get this. We gotta get people watching.
Anything for the ratings.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me get this on the website, and then I'm gonna have you play the song right as we go live.
Cool.
Okay, sessions. That. Just putting the video up on the website, and it should go live. It'll have a 60-second delay, I believe, though, but we should be good. Yeah. YouTube has been nothing but a nightmare trying to get it to embed and play the way I want it to play on the website, so I'm just going with Twitch's embedding stream. And since it's all my own original music, they shouldn't mute me and shut me off, and I'm in creative mode, so it'll be music and we'll be good.
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm going to play For the Love. I will put up on the link to the sessions tonight, the link for the fundraising page his father set up for him. Again, I'll put up the link where people can go and play this track. This is For the Love by Sealing Demons.
Hang on,
I just recommend And everyone goes and reads the lyrics because it's some of the most powerful lyrics I think have been written for a long time. Anyway, so this is For the Love. And
hang on, before you play, hold on. Let me go live. We should be live in just a second. Okay. And we are live. Go for it and play that song.
Cool. Well, this is For the Love by the Ceiling Demons. And, well, my heart goes out to you, brother. My heart, may you rest in peace.
I don't want to spoil the mood, but I can't hear the music.
No, it's not playing.
Sorry, man, I was having issues. Just give me 2 secs. Mate, just carry on. I'll come back to you in a minute.
All right. On SoundCloud or something? You can give me the link. Maybe I can get it going.
His headset's off. Well, this is the depressing sessions, and I'm sad that I wasn't really more of a part of it, but that's just so many bad feels when I am on this topic. And conflicting feels because I've dealt with suicide in my head for so long of a time that I've warped my own understanding of human nature, and I think it's unfortunately become a necessary thing just because of the society we live in.
Yeah.
And that's really morbid and hard to explain. So I won't even try.
No, I can understand where the perspective would lead to that, because it's no, you don't have to explain. I've dealt with a lot of it. It's a dark topic and it's a dark place, and it's just, it is what it is.
But one thought on it is, I would assume, and I'm not a psychologist, nor have I studied the tribe folk of Africa, but I would assume strife helps build the feeling of gratitude and success in life. The harder your life is, like physically, the harder your life is, the less likely you're going to think about stuff like that and have time to worry about it. Whereas us folk in first world countries just we have the space and the time to consider it, and therefore it happens.
Well, I've got it lined up, so sorry about the delay, but this is For the Love, featuring my friend Matt, AKX, For the Love by Ceiling Demons.
on my wrist, each one times 10 for the chances that I missed. Reminisce 6 years to when I was 15. They meant more to me than 40k a year, that's how it ought to be. Every book they taught to me, I'd devour in a day. I found my love in pages of Belloc, Camus and James. Now I re-inject my rage, think my chances can be saved by spewing every twisted thought I have onto the page. It stays the same face looking back on me. Brother loves, go once love songs sound whack to me. I rap to see if that creativity that used to live inside of me could fly again and find a new nativity. But now my pen's at a standstill. My mind's full of potential that torrentially falls, and my life's just a page in my rhyme book, crushed in a handful, straight to the landfill.
Turn up the lights so you can see me. Looking back on everything that I've done, I turn up on the stars if it need be. Breathe easy, a new river's begun. Turn up the lights so you can see me. Looking back on everything that I've done, I turn up on the stars if it need be. Breathe easy, a new river's begun.
Confronted by horrific fears, left wide open like a heart-held deer, but in danger, squeezing tight the hand of life. Let it go and realize it will be alright until disaster strikes, crush the land and shatter the skies. Sunlit brutality shines down on dark homicides, blatantly bright, clear as day but hidden at night. In bottles to smash, top to the max, trickle and spill until the last. Silent and still, fracture the glass, the frill, the cracks, fill up the glass, the frill, the cracks. Open a window, revealing the past. The demons are back, exposing your craft. Heartfelt attacks, the meanings bleeding, riddles and rhymes. The signs, the crimes, the boom, the bap, the beats, brought to life by crooked minds. From ruthless vibes, creating trouble alike. Do you identify? We glorify the mirrors, images inside those eyes. Yes, close those eyes, demonize for the love, the trust, the love for the love. This is for the love, the demons above. Shine like a star, fly like a dove. Who do you trust? I traded any love for drugs. Have you taken enough? Are you on the verge of crying? Anxiety climbing from the depth of your psyche. Try me, there's 100 ways I can make you bleed. Fuck off, get free. We pour light on everything, but it's irrelevant. Our demise is elegant. I see the words leaving your lips as death takes its grip. Fuck everyone who is taking the piss. If it's not wantable, oh, then you're full of shit. Amputate my spirit. This is beyond my fucking limits. I'm scarred and twisted beyond my limits.
Turn up the lights so you can see me. Looking back on everything that I've done, I tear up on the stars if it need be. Breathe easy, a new river's begun. Turn up the lights so you can see me. Looking back on everything that I've done, I tear up on the stars if it need be. Breathe easy, a new river's
I feel sorry for these rappers that hope that they blow but know that they won't. End up as a nobody knows, and it's lonely and cold and nobody goes to your shows. No one bought your EP or thinks that it's dope. And this is the reality that agony is trapping me. I love every step, but I live in mendacity. This is my challenge. I ravage every sample. See, I kept my integrity, but look what is left for me. There's no respect for me. How can I make a living? I'm living with the living room I'm living in. I'm sicker than the bitter spew I'm sitting in. I've studied every simile and synonym and written them, and this is what I get from it. I've gone and tried to make some art. I've taken part. I place my heart. All the borders made from darts. I wonder will I fall apart. I'm dedicated to the love, but the love doesn't love me.
Turn up the lights so you can see me. Looking back on everything that I've done, I tear up on the stars if it need be. Breathe easy, a new river's begun. Turn up the lights so you can see me. Looking back on everything that I've done, I tear up on the stars if it need be. Breathe easy, a new river's begun.
R.I.P. Matty, my friend.
So Brady seems to be muted again. Closing statements. Everybody, I guess we're ending soon.
No, hey, yeah, sorry, I didn't know it was muted there. I appreciate that, Tim. Thanks for playing that. Do you have links that we can provide everyone with all that?
Yeah, I'll put them out. I'll put them out now for you.
Cool. Yeah, well, that did stream though, so we're all good. We have sessions going live right now, and that went ahead and streamed the way I was hoping. I'm going to bleed into my performance in Second Life here in just a minute. Hopefully it works. I'm probably going to have to kill the video feed on over here, but we should be good. Just to allocate bandwidth to the game. But if you guys want to stay on and listen to some of the music, I've been working pretty hard on this performance. And if you need to just hear some music, I will be playing like you haven't heard me before. You haven't heard me really perform, and I've been giving it my all in here. If you need to just kick back and listen to some music for a bit.
Perfect, man. Well, I know it's been a bit of a dark. Well, no. I'm not going to apologise for it, man. This is what the whole point is. It's good to talk about these things, and I think it's. I know. I think it's. Like I said, you know, the power of what these conversations is exactly what we need to be doing all the time. And you know, I think it's. You know, it's always worth remembering that, you know, because we're all going to be, we've been touched by this, or we're going to be touched by it. Some death is going to hit us all, my people, and it's something we need to be reminded of, and you know, that's what we're here for. You know, we're here to live, man.
Yeah, we're kind of human and mortal. Hey, if you guys want to see what the stream looks like, it's going live right now, and I gave you the link there if you want to click it and see what I'm doing. I'm basically piping everything we're doing into the live stream and the green screens and everything, so you can see me and our session and what it all looks like without the weird green screen that you're seeing me on right now. But there you go, if you want to see that. In fact, if anyone's watching, I will post the link in here because there's multiple different streams, and I'll post the YouTube one here if I can. If I can get it to come up. Can you see the stream though, Tim?
No.
No audio?
I can see it. Yeah, there's no audio on it. I, however, am going to leave the Google chat so that I can be the mod in the Second Life and also watch the Brady stream and mod there as well.
My man. Cool. Well, look, it's been great talking to you guys tonight, man. If there's nothing else, it's just been good for me tonight, just to sort of sit there and talk to people around the world, man. And I know we're separated by thousands of miles and we've got crappy technology between us, man, but it's been good for me. So, well, just thank you very much. And, you know, as I said before, man, just always remember that life is people. And I say that, but it's true. Life is people. And that's what it's all about. It's not about money. It's not about fame. It's not about success. It's not about the amount of money you can get, or the cars, or the amount of real estate you could get, or the status you're going to get, or the fame, or the girls, or anything else. It's about life is people. And you know what I mean. So if you know, like I said, if you got anyone listening to this or anything else, or just, you know, if you've got any kids or anyone, go and give them a hug, man. Tell them you love them. And all I'm going to say, man, life is people.